Today we have an open lecture and at the same time a lesson number 0 of our course, of our program, which is organized by How to Touch. And in the same time it will be a very, I would say, complex meeting where I'm gonna describe the program, and I will also gonna present what I'm doing as an artist and how it's connected to Max, and also I'm gonna show few projects of artists that I really admire. I'm not pretending to give a proper lecture which gonna present the topic completely, because this could take hours and hours, or it requires a separate course of MIDI art history. But during our lessons, during our program, I'm gonna refer a lot to different projects by various artists that really fits into what we're gonna do. So I just want to briefly show today few artists that I think important, and they really do and present exactly where we are moving, and where like that really can inspire and in the same time present the key direction of our program. My name is Dmitry Morozov, and I'm an artist. I'm working under alias VTOL or VTOL, depending on how you're gonna pronounce this. I should, of course, say sorry for my English. I will do my best, but I know it's really far from being perfect. So sorry for this. But as I know, we will have a very the geography of our participants is really wide, and there are people from many different countries. So I hope we will find a way to understand each other. I hope I'm not gonna miss anything what I need to say today, because there will be a lot of things dedicated to the structure of my course, and dedicated to the way how I'm gonna teach, how I'm gonna present this course. And I'm not really pretending actually to be professional in Max MSP, how it was formerly called. And it's really an outer course, like a course that presents the way how I use it and the way how I want to share possibilities of this program, and the way how they could help you become an artist, or if you're already an artist, how you could extend your possibilities, how you can achieve new skills and new ways of creating complex interactive projects. And I will actually share my screen, and I have prepared a presentation which gonna describe actually which journey we are about to start. And it's funny, but I decided to do the whole presentation inside of Max MSP, and this will be also a nice presentation of what actually Max can do, and that it could also substitute programs like Keynote or PowerPoint. Of course, it's more like a joke, but I decided to do everything in one ecosystem. What else I wanted to say is that we're not gonna do a really long meeting today. It's gonna be like maybe hour, maybe slightly longer, depending on the questions, if there will be any at the end. And again, this lesson will be available. And what is also super important is that we decided to do this lesson number 0 of our course, which is already like the first lesson of the beginning course, open to everyone. But if someone is still in doubt and thinking about joining, you still can do that for first, like in next few days, next 2 days, we will be still selling the program for lower price. And then starting next week, we just begin. We just start the main course with the participants that already joined us. So I'm gonna switch to screen sharing and we'll start to actually explain what are we doing, where are we going, what is the program, like what is our program, and like how the structure of the course will also happen, and what exactly we're gonna study, try, experiment with. So first of all, of course, I need to explain what Maximus P is. Maximus P, or how it's called nowadays, Max, is a environment, like is a programming language and environment to create programs using objects and different elements which you can connect together using patch cords or connections, wires, to create your own systems, to process data, to synthesize sound, to do visuals, to connect with the internet and get some data out of it. So it's extremely universal system, and also very clear and simple to use, and also simple to learn, simple to study. It was made to actually teach people who are really far from computer science and who are far from technologies. Well, first it was made for composers to start their journey in electronic music. But already in late 90s, it became much bigger than just a program for music or composing. It has become an ecosystem of different libraries that can help you build robots, process data, even do algorithmical poetry. So it's extremely flexible and unique. I will speak a lot about history of the program in the future, because it's interesting and it could help you to understand more the logic behind some of the elements and structures and objects. So it's not a lecture today about the history of the program. I just gonna pass through that really fast. And as you can see, I even have a browser here which will help me to speak about the artist I wanted to speak, which I wanted to present. And here I have even one of the lessons we're gonna have already running, so to show how exactly we're gonna learn something. And so it's perfect for representing information, data, and to do something. So the program itself, a very important note: you don't need to do anything right now. So you don't need to follow my explanations. I mean, follow what I'm doing in the program. I'm just presenting what it is. So we're gonna start this next week with learning how exactly to build your own patches or programs, how they are called here. So so Max is built out of small bricks which has their own names and functions, which you can easily connect using small wires and activate and deactivate them, easily create a new one and then rename it, force it to do something complex or just very simple, build your logical processes or create sound and visuals, etc. So we gonna study the logic of this process, of course the interface of the program, and we're gonna really dive super fast during these 14 next lessons into the way how you can actually learn after the course the program yourself. That's the key goal I'm trying to reach with every group I'm teaching. So it's impossible, of course, in just few weeks or couple months to become guru of this program, but it's definitely possible to understand logic behind it, and also to understand how to learn, how to continue to this journey inside of the program to become maybe professional, or maybe it will just help you to create your art projects, or building prototypes of interfaces. So it's extremely flexible for this as well. Yeah, it has integrated browser, and yesterday I had a lecture which was an open workshop with the Creative Code Art for showing different ways, just three examples of how you can take some data from internet and pass it to Maximus P to control sound or light or whatever else, limited only with your fantasy. So I even keep the patch I was presenting yesterday here in presentation, just to show the program, to show how it looks and what it do. For example, this example was tracking data from the buoys, so from the floating drones, or buoys actually in the ocean, which are tracking some information about the state of the ocean, wind temperature, wind speed, etc. And I'm receiving this data here inside of the program, which can then be connected to sound or movement of the robot. For example, in this example, I created a program which was tracking stock markets, actually the exchange rate of different cryptocurrencies, and then I was extracting this data, actually the color of each cryptocurrency, into the trigger, into the command that was activating something, or I mean, it wasn't activating anything here, but it was just presenting that it's possible to activate. So first of all, using the web browser inside of the Max, I'm gonna go actually to the web page of our course, of our program, to go very fast, briefly through the structure of the program. Yeah, it has some delay with loading. Okay, maybe I just do it easier because it should be already open. Yeah, it's loading. Just do it a bit slow because of the broadcasting of the video, so it doesn't load super fast. So it will be actually 14 lessons, including today. It's going to be 15 together, during which we're going to learn key elements of Max. Of course, the interfaces already was mentioning. Then logical processes, what means comparing to more standard programming languages. Max is quite specific, and there are some rules and simple laws that you should understand, so you have possibility to go through it. Okay, I just got a notification that the broadcasting stuck. I hope it will start working fine soon again. Just let me know. Yeah, next few lessons from 3rd to 5th, maybe to 6th, will be dedicated to sound. It doesn't mean that sound is like the only important topic in Max, but of course it is, because Max was created first of all to work with the sound, and sound still is one of the most interesting medias we have in the interactive arts. But why it's so important for me during this course is because sound helps us to understand logical processes, and also sound is the, let's call it, cheapest way to actually make some processes, I would call them visible but not visible, hearable and clear, and also cheapest because we don't need to have, I don't know, external light or a moving robot. We could have the sound just inside of the program to create examples of, let's call it, sonification of some logical processes. And this helps a lot to understand logic and scenarios of art pieces. Well, sound by itself is very interesting, but this is gonna also just help you to understand logic behind some processes of control of processing the data, for example. And what's very important is that everything, when you understand how to work with the sound, then you could easily just use these skills for controlling light, or for controlling movement of the robot, or for controlling speed of some motor that pumps water, for example, and you create your own fountain or whatever else. So the media, which is at the end represents your concept of your artwork, is a bit secondary in this case, because first of all you need to understand some processes behind the signals that are actually activating different mechanisms, for example. This is why we're gonna really focus on sound at some point. Then starting lesson number 8 and number 9, we're gonna dive more into the Max as a system that can help you to create interesting interfaces. And I'm going to show a lot of my works and works of other artists that we're using Max not only as the system that makes something working as a programming language, but also as a system that represents data, that do, I don't know, interesting graphs and plots, or that creates interface for touchscreen, for example. So you could hide all these connectors and all these comments and whatever happening behind your program, and easily create an interface of the program that will be super clean, and it's really worth it, because you could like easily add this to your installation if you have a monitor or several monitors that represent some processes behind your I don't know, behind your concept of the installation, or just visualize something. Also, yeah, how to touch, as the organization have amazing courses and programs for visual programming using Touch Designer, 4V, or any other instruments. But inside of Max, we have a library which is called Jitter, which was actually a pioneering library in this kind of languages, in this kind of systems. And we're gonna just briefly try it, because by itself it requires a separate course. But if you will know some basics inside of it, you could easily learn by yourself, and this could help you. This could help you in creating amazing projects, not because you can only like do visuals, but also you could analyze data from the web camera, or you could for example download some image from the internet and then analyze it and create something like sound or movement of the robot out of this image, for example. And then for last lesson, starting lesson 11 till 14, will be dedicated to working with Arduino and in communicating Arduino with MaxMXP. So what is Arduino actually? So here I have a separate few images just loaded inside of the patch. Arduino is a microcontroller, and it's a platform that easily makes us, that helps us connecting physical world with the digital world. We will use Arduino, this board, which is also in the list of materials you would need for the workshop, to connect Max with the physical world in both directions. So here, for example, I have an image with like few sensors, like proximity sensor, gas sensor, infrared sensor for detecting people inside of the room, humidity sensor, sound sensor, and so on and so on. And we could easily hook this and get the data from the sensor inside of our program. And using that, we can create a musical instrument, controller for visuals, or a standalone autonomous sound installation or video installation, anything. So in this case, this will be physical world sending some parameters, some data into Arduino, which is connected to the Maximus P, and where we see this data coming from this board, from the sensors we are connecting to it. It could be something even more simpler, just buttons, but then you can create a interesting interface for your installation, or I don't know, for your garden if you are gardening. But you can do this through Max and analyze temperature and, I don't know, extract some parameters or create an array of data and visualize this and pass this to the internet and create a website, whatever. So of course we're gonna speak a lot about the concepts and about the projects and how you can use your knowledge and why I'm giving you this particular skills and information. On another side, I just add a few motors here connected somehow to Arduino, so we will do it completely different way, but it's just an example. We can use Arduino, which is controlled by Maximus P, to control something outside of our computer. For example, motors, or actually any mechanism. If it's not made to be controlled using Arduino, we can easily hack it to be used using Arduino. Or maybe we would need to create a chain of few systems, but I never had a task which I could not fix, which I could not do. It's always a question just of how complex it's going to be, but what I wanted to say is that we can use Max to control something outside of computer, so we can like control physical, electronic objects, elements, and systems using Max. And so the four last lessons going to be dedicated to that. Actually, it will be 4 lessons of practice, but everything what's gonna be before that would kind of preparing you for this. It will be helping you to actually understand the ways how we're gonna do that. And as I already mentioned, sound is an amazing source of sensing what's happening in your system. This is why we're gonna learn a lot about the sound. At the end, electronics, every speaker that plays sound, even in our computer, is actually an electromagnetic motor that just runs on a frequency which could be hearable. So, and then it makes the membrane moving. So it's not such a big difference if you have a motor or a speaker. It has electromagnetic processes behind. Here I have an example of how our lessons are gonna look. Sorry, this one is in Cyrillic because I just took this patch from the previous course I was doing in Russian. Of course, it's gonna be in English, but yeah, this was like lesson number 3 in this case, where I was just presenting some basic things in sound. So after every lesson, you will get a patch as a file with all the comments explaining every object. During the lesson, I'm gonna build something like that, this kind of structure from the scratch, explaining every object, every element. Then after the lesson, I am adding comments explaining you what is what, and sending you this as a file, so you could have like a master patch made by me, and you can compare it with what you have done during the lecture, during the lesson. And of course, starting maybe lesson number 3, number 4, we will have some homework, some tasks for you, and we will have maybe like one day in between the lessons on the week, where we can discuss how the homework is going, and how it's all happening, if it's all clear or not, and we're gonna do this in our group chat, so that anyone could take part in this, and we keep the dynamic of the group and help each other, and yeah. There will be almost for every lesson a separate patch. Maybe for last 4 it will be the same. We're just gonna update it from lesson to lesson. So now I want to switch actually to the part where I'm gonna show a few artworks. Some of artworks gonna be made by artists I wanted to present, and few gonna be my own artworks, and of course I'm gonna refer during the whole course a lot to different art projects, because this inspires, but it's also very important to understand how something is made, and it's important also to understand if we can make something like that. It doesn't mean that all these projects are made using Maximus P. I would say mostly none of them are, but it doesn't mean we cannot do them using Maximus P, or it's always interesting to analyze how something is made. Even my own projects are like maybe on 30% are made using Max. I use many other tools like Python, Pure Data, and so on and so on. Or sometimes they are just analogical or digital, and they don't have even a computer. But the more I study interactive arts, the more I understand that everything is so similar and different in the same time. But once you know one tool, it's so much easier to understand any other tool. It's same like with the languages. Once you know one language, then easily you could, not easily, but it's much easier to learn some other language, especially if they are dedicated, if they are made for similar tasks. And there are always pros and cons in every tool, in every language. And the more you know, and the more you know how you can communicate or actually connect them together, and then more flexible you are in creating interesting systems. What's also very important, what I forgot to mention when I was showing the program of the course, we're going to dedicate quite a lot of time, actually almost one lesson, to different ways how we can connect different programs together, not just Arduino as the board, but also 2 different programming languages, 2 different programs we're going to create ourselves, or more than 2 together, and so that they can share their possibilities together, and increase the level of the quality or just complexity if it's needed. And already yesterday, if you haven't seen the workshop I was giving, I was showing a very simple way how Python can upload something, actually download something from the internet, and then in a format of text file, and then Max could read this text file and analyze it line by line and extracting exact data we would need for our project. And it's always very interesting to do something like that. Of course, there are much more advanced ways like OSC or MIDI and some other how you can make things interacting with each other. So yeah, now I'm gonna present few projects of few artists, actually of only 3 artists that I wanted to show today, that I think really fits into the program of our course. I hope my internet will not stuck because I also planned to show some videos. Maybe I will avoid this, but you will see the links, so you could easily dive in and check these projects by yourself with much better quality probably than just than the way I'm gonna do that. So, and the first artist I really want to present, maybe many of you know him, he's like a superstar of interactive, of MIDI art, German artist Ralph Baker, a very good friend of mine who is also an amazing teacher. He teaches at FK Bremen in Germany. He has a lot of amazing students, but he's one of the key artists of our days, I would say, definitely, of course, in the fields of digital art, in the fields of interactive art. And he has not that many projects, but all of them are absolute masterpieces, and they are incredibly smart, elegant, well-made, well-produced, and it's always a pleasure to see his projects. And I'm really insisting every one of you to check what he was doing. I'm just gonna show a few of his works, actually 2, and one of them is Mirage. It's an installation which I had pleasure once to set as an assistant. So when he could not come to the exhibition in one city, and I was also a part of that festival, I had the pleasure to assist him and help to set the work, which was of course already assembled. I don't know if the browser of so the browser of Maximus P unfortunately cannot play Vimeo, so I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna switch to normal browser. Sorry. It's a wrong one. As I remember, Mirage is not made using Maximus P, but we could easily recreate it using Max, or at least some elements of it. And as any complex project, it's made using different tools and different systems integrated together into the complex project. So actually Mirage is a kinetic light interactive installation that has a sensor which tracks geomagnetic field around exactly in the place of the installation. So the sensor is usually placed right in the middle of the space where the work is exhibited, and in the same time it tracks the data from the internet using coordinates, so that the project gets information not only from the spot where it stands, but also from some labs that are providing this information for every part of the world. So it works quite unique in the different places, and never repeats the way how it works. Then the key element of the installation is kind of a lens, a flat lens that is very flexible. So it's made out of probably acrylic or some special plastic, and hundreds maybe not hundreds, but many small electrical muscles, so small wires which are stretching or extending while you're applying electricity on it. What makes them moving and pulling and pushing, and they bend actually the surface of this lens. And there is a laser line which is pointed to this lens, and once the lens starts to bend, it creates extremely interesting image. So yeah, here we can see the schematic, the documentation of the project, where we see the laser pointed to this lens. Actually he calls it deformable mirror sheet, which is more proper name of this bending plastic thing, and it creates a projection. We see here it's 3 multiplied by 16 muscle wires actors, which are influenced by the geomagnetic field, as I already said before. And it's also connected with the sound, so there is a sound in this work which is interactive, which is algorithmical, so it also depends on the data of the received installation. And at the end, on the wall, we see this as a projection which very gently, very slowly moves and changes the way how it looks. And since this combination of the laser with the mirror and with the lens, which is probably also standing there to focus the laser light properly, it looks like a multi-dimensional image, and completely not just like a standard laser projection where we see it as like one dimension something. So it creates this plans behind almost a 3D image, or actually it looks like a 3D image. And I hope when I'm gonna show the video, my broadcasting will not stuck. I will avoid using sound because it's definitely gonna go really bad into the streaming. But I will just like give you a few seconds so you will understand what it is all about. And we're gonna discuss this kind of projects a lot, and definitely this type of installations could be done with the Max, or at least something similar, where we could combine incoming data, generating sound, forcing some electronic actors or actuators or motors to move in different directions and do this very precise. So Max could be an amazing integrator of completely different worlds into one system, into one like brain, which is super flexible to tweak and to force to do what we need from it. I will not go further with this video and jump to another project from Ralph. Maybe just one more from him. I would be happy to give the whole lecture only explaining his works. But maybe I will refer to his projects once again. So another one is it's called Nature History of Networks Soft Machine, and it's dedicated to the topic of liquid computers and alternative computation. So as you can see, there is a huge text dedicated to the project, and it's definitely worth to read it. But I will just very briefly and through simplifying everything explain what it is and how it works and how it's connected to what we're gonna do. So actually it's a projection, and it's a audiovisual performance setup which is used not as an installation but as a setup using which Ralph is performing, and it's quite short, maybe like 20-30 minutes. So it's more referring to performance art than installation, but anyway, it's extremely interesting. I mean, it's just a different direction in MIDI art, and like Max is also amazing for creating setups for performances. Yeah, so what it is actually, there is something like a petri dish, or actually a pool with the special liquid, and inside of this liquid Ralph adds gallium. Actually, gallistan, some kind of alloy of few metals, where gallium is the most important one. And when around this pool, he has electrodes, like one central, which is anode, and a few cathodes around. So it's kind of a semiconductor system. And Ralph is, and actually his system is controlling which of the cathodes is active now, or which few of them are active. What makes the electricity go through this liquid metal and additional liquid around it, what makes this liquid go into the really crazy shapes. You will see this in the video later. So it acts like it's alive, so, or like a strange liquid machine. Remember Terminator movie. So what I really also admire is that Ralph is always sharing a really nice documentation of his projects. So you could see that how complex they are, but at the same time how let's say clear they are made and clean in the same time. As I know, actually the control system for this project is made in Max, as I remember, but maybe we will see this later, or maybe he's mentioning this somewhere in his documentation. Okay, I'm not gonna stuck with this. I just want to show you a little bit of the video. If you don't mind, I'm gonna scroll a bit to some parts of the performances which are much more intense, and also with like that change the colors, the backlight behind the work. Yeah, it's quite crazy. And what is very important for me here is that Ralph is connecting sound, light, and projection together. Actually, the whole process is happening on his table, but he has a very high quality web camera that actually captures the process and everything what happens on his table, and then passes this to projection. And then he has a computer from which he controls, as I remember using Max actually, the colors, actually the light color and the sound, and definitely sound is connected to electronics that passes this electricity through this dish with these liquids and metal. So it's all synchronized and all connected, all such different medias. And Max, for example, is also an amazing way, an amazing tool to combine completely different things and medias together and to control them, and also to create an interface that would make that will help you to do this very comfortable and simple. Well, as I said before, Ralph has many other amazing projects, and I'm really insisting you to check what he has done in the last 15 years. But now I'm gonna jump to another group, which is called Kodact, and it's a duo of two Swiss artists who are brothers. So I'm very bad with French names. It's André Decoster and Michel Decoster. Sorry for checking how exactly they should be pronounced. They are originally coming from the fields of sound art, but these days they are really creating extremely complex and unique installations, which are like complex robotic art pieces, but always involving sound in their projects. So sound is still one of the key medias behind their projects. And I have seen few of their artist talks, even workshops, where they were showing internals, what they were showing like systems behind their projects. And mostly for sound they use Max. And the way how they do that is quite unique and interesting, and even the control of the robots is also made using Max or involving Max as one of the elements of their systems. So I also insist to check more of their projects. I just gonna show two of my most favorite pieces. One of them is called Cycloid, or Cycloid, I don't know how to pronounce it properly, sorry. It's quite an old art piece, but I still think it's one of the most interesting kinetic sound and robotic art pieces ever made during last, I don't know, 30, 40 years in digital era of media art. And in the same time it's very abstract, same as previous projects I was showing, but maybe this one is even more abstract because it's not receiving any data from anything. It just acts as an animal, or actually as an alien animal, and the way how it's made is also absolutely amazing. And what's also very important here, that it has interactive sound inside of it, so it's not the sound which is pre-recorded for this art piece, but sound which is connected to the way how the installation moves, what makes it look really alive, complex and interesting. So actually Cycloid is a system, is a pendulum system, but the pendulum that has not just one moving element but few of them, which are passing the energy to each other through rotation and through inertia. And the way how they control it is quite simple. So the project itself have just one motor, but this is a very precise and very strong and very wide range of speeds motor, and the whole system, which contains 5 pipes, is very precisely made using probably very quality bearings, and it's also very well balanced. And what helps to achieve precision and smoothness of the movement, and what makes this artwork actually acting so interesting. So sorry, I turned it down the volume of the videos so far, but I will start it pretty soon, or maybe you will check it. So as you can see, in every pipe there is a speaker. So what makes this installation also a multi-channel sound installation. And when the work would start to move more active and more crazy, it would be very clear that speakers are always pointed to different directions. So the lowest one is pointed maybe to you, while a few others are pointed somewhere else in the space. What makes it super interesting acoustically, super interesting in the way how it transmits the sound into the space. And as you can see, this central motor just makes the first pipe to move, while all others are just receiving inertia and receiving acceleration or deceleration. And the more it moves, the faster or the more crazy it stops and then continues to move, the more crazy all other pipes starts to spin. And at some point it starts from very smooth movement and then very fast goes into the crazy chaotic rotation, acceleration, deceleration. So what creates this crazy biomorphic movement, perception or impression. I don't know, probably the sound would go super bad if I would start I will turn down the volume of it. Please just check. I will probably send the links of everything what I was showing today together. They will be added to the comments of the video. At least I will ask how to touch guys to add it there. What I wanted to mention is that, as I was already saying before, that the sound is related to the movement. So there are sensors that tracks acceleration and deceleration, actually simple accelerometers or gyroscopes. And actually in the list of the materials we also have one gyroscope, a simple one, but the one which is super easy to hook, and it's quite precise to create interesting interfaces or controllers. And since the sound is really following the movement, as I already mentioned, it creates absolutely unique impression of this movement. And it's really like movement and the sound are working together to create like really interesting image or situation, I would even say, I will even call it. When I saw a few times this work, I was always staying like for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes just observing this movement and how sound smoothly is connected to it. And this reference is quite important for me because I definitely know that guys are using Max for what they do. I will jump to another project from Dame, which is also made using Max, at least for sound synthesis. What is super important about Kodak, and I always talk with my students about this, is the way how they document everything what they do. Not every artist is I don't know, calm enough or patient enough to represent their works with such a quality. I mean, even post-production of their works, all the documentation, all the explanations of the concept, of the technical elements of the work, etc. So their website is a perfect example of how the artist should represent what he do and how he creates his artworks, and also how he distributes them or share them digitally online, and there are like few videos of this project, of every project they share. Even you can see, actually, sorry for this spin-off, but they even provide technical sheet. So if you want to invite them for your festival or your, I don't know, event, you could first check what's required for setting this up, transportation, etc. So this particular project is called Niloid, and it's maybe the most crazy and strange robot, if you even can call this as a robot, project I have ever seen. Luckily, I have seen it several times at different festivals, once at Ars Electronica, once somewhere in Manchester. Actually, you would not even call it as a robot if you would not be, I don't know, really deep into the robots, but it is. So it's made out of the free nylon sticks, which are connected to free, extremely powerful motors, actually servo motors that are turning super precisely, control it digitally, so that you could really achieve right angles and do right amount of turns, so that you could keep your system controllable. Same kind of motors which are used in 3D printers, but just huge. And they are just tweaking these nylon sticks until it reach some crazy points where robot starts to bend and move super crazy, and actually collapse. This is one of the art pieces. They even call it performative installation, because it cannot run just as an installation. After every 30-40 minutes, one of the nylon sticks just collapse and explodes, and they need to change it. So they like set it, show it maybe like for half an hour, then they needed to repair. Then they repair, act for another 30 minutes, then the robot collapses once again. Even in the documentation they share, there was a moment when the robot stuck and cannot move itself anymore, which is super nice, because we always think that robots are stronger than us, or they are super powerful, or they are super stable. No, it's not like that. They require they really requires like service and mans and papa to come and fix it, or mama. So yeah, I think Niloid is an amazing example how humanistic and interesting robotic art can be. But in the same time, it's also a sound installation. Please check it with the better quality from your computer when I will send the link. So there is a central piece, which is a huge speaker inside of some metal enclosure, and it has many sensors inside. Actually, gyroscope that understands position and the way how it moves. And the more robots go into the crazy mode, the more crazy the installation sounds. So the sensor tracks what happens with the work, and the speaker, actually the system inside of this can sounds more and more crazy. So now we see how it slowly goes into like how it bends more and more, because more and more force is applied on these flexible nylon sticks. At some point it collapses and start to really suffer, I would say. And this is all supported by super crazy sounds. I don't know how good the sound goes into the streaming, but you definitely need to check it by yourself. So Yeah, the whole sound behind this work is based on speech synthesis, which is of course also possible with Max. It's quite an old work, we can say. It's more than 10 years old, but already at that time Max was extremely powerful. So now it could be even more advanced and more interesting. Yeah, maybe I will stop with the code act here. There was also a third artist I wanted to really to show. His name is Tiefengrauber, an Austrian artist from Linz. He's maybe not that famous as Kodak or Ralph Baker, which is not that important. I am still admiring what he's doing, and I really wanted to show, and he's not very typical guy to be shown on my lectures, I would say, but today I just wanted to I just decided to show something what I'm rarely showing to the audience, just because I don't know. I want to make every lecture slightly different, and I really like this art piece. It's actually one of his first art pieces from 2013. I'm not sure if it's made with Max at all, but it could be. And maybe this is the only project today which is not anyhow related to sound, and I still find this one as a very funny and ironical one. So it's called user-generated server destruction. Yeah, but of course it could be potentially made with Max, so which I need to mention. So since I'm promoting Max a lot today, so yeah, it's called user-generated server destruction, and it's an interactive piece where anyone who comes to the exhibition can try to destroy the server. What is the scenario behind this work? In the space where it stands, let me find a nice photo. Oh yeah, he documented every exhibition he took part with this project. So sorry, I need to find a proper photo that will really represent what I wanted to show. Okay, maybe this one could be fine. So it's an old computer and 6 hammers, which are motor-activated hammers, and a web camera that looks at this computer, and a website which is presented somewhere in the same space on the wall. And when someone from the audience come to the interface of the of this installation, actually, which is actually a website, he can activate one of the hammers, and there is a counter that counts the amount of hits that this server gets. And actually, this web camera is connected to the server which is installed, which is placed inside of this computer. So when you see a website with the streaming of the video, you are actually observing moments when it can die at some point. And he said that some of the servers survived 300, 400 hits, while others were dying after the third one, and then for months of the exhibition it was standing just as a documentation, as an archive version of it. Yeah, and I think it's extremely ironical, and also it refers a lot to the pioneers of MIDI art, like Nam June Paik, who created his Zen TV, famous installation, one of the first MIDI art installations of the TV, and the sorry, not web camera, just a video camera that was looking at the Buddha sculpture, which was looking at the TV, where he could see himself. So a very Zen Buddhist kind of MIDI art installation. Here the camera looks at the server, which can be destroyed, but the camera is connected to this server, and every participant is trying to destroy it and just observe what happens next. I think it's quite funny. There should be definitely a nice documentation here. Yeah, I can for sure turn off the volume here, because it's more like a visual kinetic art piece, also quite ironical one. Yeah, of course, here it's more like a cut that shows this moment when it dies, but it is how it's actually working. Yeah, here I'm almost done for today, but I just briefly wanted to show a few of my artworks so that I could present my own practice. We had a really long and big artist talk presentation with how to touch previously. You definitely can find it on the How to Touch page and in the YouTube channel. I hope it's still there. I just gonna show maybe one or two projects I have made in the past 15 years. There is like about 120 projects on my webpage, so it could take a year to show all of them. I sometimes even forget some of the works I have done, but here I'm gonna show just one or two, just you could understand how I'm using Max and how I'm combining different things together to create my weird sculptures. And I'm gonna start with like one of the recent works which was made in collaboration with Alexandra Gavrilova, an artist I'm collaborating quite often with. She's an amazing artist who works with the 4V or VVVV or 4V, depending on the language you use. And she created visuals, like generative visual program for this artwork. And so this project is actually a perfect example how Max can cooperate with different systems and create a very complex system together. I would not say that Max is more important than any other element here. They are all integrated together. So here you could see the schematic of this sculpture. We have 5 monitors in this work that shows video generated in 4V, and we have LDR, which stands for light dependent resistor, a very simple photosensor that can track amount of light it receives. So, and this sensor, there are 5 of them in front of each monitor. They are looking at the screens with these visuals from the 4V, and the data they are generating, it goes to Arduino, and then Arduino passes this data into the Max. Max analyze incoming light blinks and turn them into the sound, and we can hear it immediately, but also it sends this data to 4V. And 4V also analyze this data and change the way how it generates the video. So what we get here is a feedback loop with the result, which is sound, but also changes of the video. And it's an endless process. And sometimes it goes completely into the crazy mode. So it's a self-oscillating feedback system, which is quite weird. And when we were programming this, we didn't know how far this is gonna go, and sometimes works produce really crazy sounds. Sometimes it stucks completely and almost stop to sound and stop to show any visuals, but then someone, I don't know, reflects some light or something else happens in the space, I don't know, blinks of the like a signal of the cars or something like that goes into the room, and it restarts the explosion of this feedback again. So here I'm gonna show again a little bit of video, but again the problem of the sound, so maybe it's better if you check the video later by yourself. Yeah, it's an extremely abstract artwork, I would say. A system which is observing itself. I hope you get the idea. And one more project I really wanted to show, it's called Duga, and it's one of the latest projects I have built. I made it in Ljubljana, Slovenia, end of last year. It still doesn't have a proper text explaining the whole work, but I made already the video documentation, so the text is coming soon. And I'm gonna refer to this work a lot during our course, because it's also an example of using Max for few different tasks. First of all, Max tracks data from the internet, actually from one scientific library that provides data about Schumann resonance, a very interesting physical phenomena that happens in atmosphere. There is a lot of projects dedicated to this Schumann resonance, but many of them are very speculative or esoteric, or like too much referring to New Age. In this case, like I wanted really to do something in collaboration with scientists, that it would not be anyhow speculative or referring to some fake, strange, esoteric concepts, which could be true at the end also. Actually, I even gonna show how strange and huge looks the patch behind this work. I hope it's not gonna stuck and crush my Max MSP right now. Yeah, maybe it will not show completely how the project works. This patch, it started the sound. I really want to block it, to stop it. This patch is only for transferring the image. Actually, the scientific lab, they don't provide any data in a textual format. They just post every hour, actually every 15 minutes, they post image that show the graphs of different parameters of the Schumann resonance. And the problem is they don't even put the numbers here at the end. And the numbers, the referring numbers of every graph are also changing. And since it's just an image, I have created a patch that tracks this image, analyzes pixel by pixel everything, turns this into the values, and also I'm tracking the text information and turn them into the number. Actually, the text is just an image, but I have created the patch that analyze pixels and turn them into the real numbers. So it looks quite messy to do for a very simple task. For sure, there is an AI or any other open source or some open source tool that could do this much faster, better, and in a much more elegant way. Here on this image, on the screen, you can see part of the program of this project, which analyzes the image from the internet and turns them into the data. And unfortunately, that was the only source of this scientific information I really needed for my project. This is why I decided to use it in such a strange way and really spend a lot of time doing such a simple thing. And I was just curious if Max would allow me to do that. In the same time, I will go back to the documentation. Max was used here for creating an interface on the screen. Also, Max control all the motors of the work, which are actually not the motors but electromagnets.